Have you ever wondered why some people seem destined for something great but never discover their true potential? What if your real identity was so powerful that it needed to be hidden until the time was right? The answer may be more surprising than you imagine. Since ancient times, stories about special beings who walk among us, unaware of their true nature, have circulated in all cultures. Kings were created as commoners. Prophets grew up not knowing that they were destined to change the world. Powerful leaders, before awakening, were just ordinary figures stuck in a routine life. But what if this wasn't just a legend? What if this pattern repeated itself to this day? And you were one of the chosen ones without knowing it, the origin of the big secret. Throughout history, there have always been those who carried a different power within themselves. Some were recognized and celebrated. Others, however, needed to be hidden from the world, and even from themselves. This concealment was never a mistake. It was a plan. Many believe that the Creator, whether he is called God, the universe, or any higher force, does not deliver great gifts without adequate preparation. Immense power left unchecked can become destructive. The brightness of a star that rises before its time can be extinguished before it even lights up the world. Therefore, the chosen were kept in the shadows, living ordinary lives, dealing with challenges that seemed ordinary, until awakening came. And this awakening begins now. Be part of our spiritual family. Subscribe to the channel today and comment "I believe" below as a symbol that you accept your role in this great transition. Let your energy be counted among the chosen. The time is now. Signs you always ignored. The chosen do not discover their true nature overnight. Awakening is not a dramatic moment like in the movies. It's a process, a set of events, signs, and feelings that are repeated throughout life. Have you ever felt out of place, like you don't fully belong in this world? Have you ever had vivid dreams, memories that don't feel like you, intuitions that came true? Maybe you felt an invisible force guiding you, pushing people away, creating impossible paths, or even placing obstacles that seemed unbearable. But that always led you to a greater transformation. These are not random events. These are tests. Those who have extraordinary gifts are honed by the fire of experience. Nothing comes easy, because those who are destined for greatness need to be prepared to carry it. But there is a detail that few realize. If you are being tested, it means you have already been chosen. The hidden code in history. Ancient scriptures talk about this phenomenon in a codified form. Moses, before freeing his people, lived in anonymity as an Egyptian prince. Jesus spent years as a simple carpenter before beginning his mission. Siddhartha Gautama, before becoming Buddha, lived like a prince surrounded by illusions. The same story repeats itself in different ways. The chosen always start out as anonymous. But what if these historical patterns weren't just coincidences? And if they were a reflection of something bigger, a cycle that repeats itself in every generation? If so, the question that really matters is, who are today's chosen? And most importantly, are you one of them? Your journey is just beginning. It's time to regain your strength and build a new path. Subscribe to the channel and be part of this community that is awakening to the truth. Destiny or free will? If the chosen truly exist, the inevitable question arises. Do they follow an already written path, or can they change their own destiny? This question has intrigued philosophers, scientists, and spiritual leaders for centuries. From ancient Greece to the present day, great minds have addressed this question. Are our lives predestined, or are we masters of our choices? To understand this issue, we need to look at history and the patterns that repeat themselves over time. The code of destiny. Prophecies that are fulfilled. If there is anything that suggests a predetermined path, it is prophecies. They appear in different cultures, predicting events that often come true. For example, in 1555, astrologer Nostradamus wrote cryptic predictions in his book, The Prophecies. Among them, he described a leader coming from the east, devastating wars and even technological advances that would only come centuries later. Many associate his predictions with the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, Adolf Hitler, and even events of the 21st century. In biblical tradition, the Book of Daniel, written around 530 A.C., predicted the rise and fall of empires such as the Babylonian, Greek, and Roman, centuries before they happened. If events can be anticipated, doesn't that mean they were already written? What if the destiny of the chosen has already been sealed, just waiting for the right moment to be revealed? But before accepting this idea, we need to look at the other side of the coin. The power of choice, free will or illusion. If everything was already written, why do we still feel like we have choices? The answer may lie in the way time and reality work. Quantum physics has brought concepts that challenge our notion of destiny. In 1927, Werner Heisenberg formulated the uncertainty principle, which suggests that the simple act of observing an event can influence its outcome. This indicates that the future is not fixed, but rather a set of possibilities that depend on the choices we make at each moment. Furthermore, neuroscience studies, such as those led by Benjamin Libet in the 1990s-1980, showed that the brain starts making decisions before we are even aware of them. This leads us to question, did we choose or just follow a path that was already underway? If the chosen truly exist, perhaps their destiny is not something fixed, but a path of possibilities. What would happen if a chosen refused to follow their mission? Would your destiny change, or would you just adapt? Chosen. People who tried to escape from destiny. History shows us that even those who seemed predestined for a great role tried to escape this call. Jonah in the Old Testament was chosen to take a divine message to a corrupt city, but tried to escape his fate. He fled to the sea, but ended up being swallowed by a large fish and only accepted his mission after 3 days. Gautama Buddha, before awakening to your enlightenment, lived surrounded by luxury and ignored his true calling until being confronted with the reality of human suffering. Napoleon Bonaparte, before becoming emperor, almost abandoned military life after the French Revolution. He could have been a simple exile, but circumstances forced him to assume a decisive role in history. These examples suggest that even when someone tries to escape their destiny, events begin to shape your life to lead you back to the path that has always been yours. So, where does free will come into this equation? The path exists, but you choose to walk it. The truth may lie in the balance between these two forces. The destination. It may be a path already traced, but not a dead-end tunnel. It looks more like a labyrinth with multiple directions, where choices shape the journey, but the final destination is already designed. Many philosophers have compared life to a river. Its contours and destiny are already defined, but the flow can change intensity. There are unexpected turns, obstacles, and detours, but the water always finds a way to the ocean. Maybe the chosen are like that river. No matter how many turns they take, they will always end up where they belong. But there is something essential. Free will exists to shape experience. The final question, then, is not whether you can escape your destiny, but rather how you will face it. Will you fight him or accept your calling and become who you were always destined to be? What does it mean to be a chosen one in real life? If fate cannot be completely avoided, but it is also not a prison, what is the true purpose of the chosen? How can anyone find out, are you part of this group? And most importantly, what happens when we finally accept who we really are? These questions will be answered in the next part of the journey. It's time to regain your strength and build a new path. If this video is making sense to you, don't stop here. Click sign up now and discover the next step towards your transformation. The hidden truth, conspiracy or higher plan. Since the dawn of humanity, the search for truth has been a journey full of obstacles. But what if the reason for so many difficulties is not just chance? What if the truth has been hidden intentionally? If the chosen exist and play a crucial role in the world, who would be interested in keeping this information secret? Governments, secret societies, or maybe something much bigger, a power that transcends this world. This issue is not new. In different cultures and historical moments, we find reports of hidden information, prohibited manuscripts and teachings that were deliberately erased from history. But why? Is the truth too dangerous? Or has the right time to reveal it not yet arrived? The veil that hides the truth. The idea that humanity lives under a kind of veil is not just a modern theory. Ancient philosophers already suggested that our perception of reality is limited. Plato, in the 4th century BC, described this idea in the famous myth of the cave. He talked about prisoners who spent their entire lives seeing only shadows cast on a cave wall. For them, this was the only possible reality. When one of the prisoners finally escapes and sees the outside world, he realizes that everything he believed to be true was just an illusion. But the most interesting thing is not just the veil itself, but the reaction of those still trapped in the cave. When the prisoner returns to tell the truth, the others refuse to believe. Some, including they'd rather kill him than accept that they were wrong this whole time. If we apply this metaphor to the world today, a disturbing question arises. Who is manipulating the shadows we see? Forbidden knowledge throughout history. If the truth was hidden, can we find evidence of this in history? The answer is yes. To Alexandria Library, which contained thousands of manuscripts with knowledge of ancient civilizations, was burned in the 3rd century AD. This destruction eliminated information that could have revolutionized our understanding of the world. The Gospel of Thomas, one of the apocryphal texts that contains teachings attributed to Jesus, was kept secret for centuries and was only rediscovered in 1945. Its content suggests that humanity's true power lies in self-knowledge, a concept that contradicts established power structures. The destruction of Mayan records by Spanish conquerors in the 16th century eliminated an enormous amount of knowledge about astronomy, mathematics, and spirituality. What did this information contain that was so valuable? The pattern repeats. Knowledge has always been suppressed, censored, or distorted. If this happened so many times, are we being deprived of something even greater? What is really being hidden? If there is a greater truth being hidden, what would it be? There are many theories, but they all converge on a single point. Humanity is more powerful than we have been taught to believe. This idea appears in several spiritual traditions. In Hinduism, Vedic texts talk about siddhis, supernatural abilities that humans can develop, such as telepathy and levitation. In Christianity, Jesus said, "You are gods," John 10:34, suggesting that we have a dormant potential within us. In Tibetan Buddhism, it is believed that the human mind can transcend matter and alter reality. If the chosen have extraordinary gifts, it makes sense that this information would be hidden. In the end, what would happen if everyone discovered they could shape their own reality, share this knowledge with the world? Together, we can spread this message and help more people become free. Subscribe to the channel and send this video to anyone who needs to hear this truth. The conspiracy that limits humanity. If there is an effort to keep this truth hidden, who is behind this? Some theories suggest that secret societies, groups that hold ancestral knowledge, work to ensure that this information never be accessible to the public. There are records of mystical orders and organizations that spent centuries guarding esoteric knowledge. Other views point to spiritual forces, who may be influencing the course of history to prevent humanity from awakening. In several cultures, there are reports about entities that act in the invisible world to manipulate reality. But there is a third, even more intriguing possibility. What if the Creator himself hid this truth for a reason? What if it is not a human conspiracy, but rather part of a divine plan? The higher plan. Why does the truth need to be revealed at the right time? Perhaps the truth has not been taken from us, but rather preserved until we are ready to receive it. If we look at history, big revelations always happen at the exact moment humanity is ready. Electricity existed long before it was discovered, but it was only understood when civilization was ready to use it. The concept that the Earth orbits the Sun was true from the beginning, but it was only accepted centuries later when people's mindset changed. Quantum physics has always governed the universe, but we are only now beginning to understand how it works. This suggests that the truth about the chosen was not lost, but protected. Perhaps those who were called to great missions need to go through challenges before they understand who they really are. If someone were given immense power without preparation, they could use it in a destructive way. The question then is not, why did they hide this from us? But rather, are we ready to receive this truth? Is awakening near? If the truth has been hidden, it means there will be a moment of revelation. That moment may be happening now. The growing search for spirituality, the advancement of scientific knowledge, and the questioning of old structures indicate that something is changing. Those who feel this calling may be close to an awakening. But there is one last hurdle, the fear of the truth. Not everyone is prepared to accept that the world they know may be an illusion. Not everyone wants to open their eyes to their true identity. The big question is, are you ready to see beyond the veil? Hidden identity, the path to self-discovery. From childhood, we learn to conform to the world's expectations. But what if, in doing so, we are, without realizing it, hiding our true essence? What if the gifts that make us unique were more than just characteristics, but powers that, if revealed too soon, could put everything at risk? Great stories throughout humanity portray this idea. Superheroes, mythical figures, and spiritual leaders, they went through a process of concealment before assuming their true role. It's no coincidence. Identity and power are intertwined, and premature disclosure can have unpredictable consequences. But why is concealment necessary? What is the psychological and spiritual impact of not being able to be who we really are? And above all, how to know when is it time to wake up? The myth of the hero and the hidden identity. The need to hide one's identity. It's not a modern concept. In the most diverse cultures, we find narratives of exceptional individuals who had to hide their true nature until the right moment. Moses, he was raised as an Egyptian prince without knowing that he was, in fact, chosen to free his people. Buddha, he grew up surrounded by luxury without knowing the suffering of the world until he discovered his spiritual mission. Jesus, he lived most of his life in anonymity before beginning his ministry and revealing his true nature. This structure appears repeatedly because it reflects a universal truth. Power without maturity can be a risk not only for those who have it, but for everyone around them. If we look at modern stories, we see the same pattern. Clark Kent, Superman, needs to hide his abilities to protect those around him. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. He learns that with great power comes great responsibility, and that premature revelation can put lives in danger. These stories are not just fiction. They reflect a real process that all chosen go through, the phase of concealment before revelation. But this secrecy may come at a price. To not miss any message from God, click the subscribe button. Write, "I'm ready" in the comments and start aligning your energy with the transformation that is coming. The weight of hiding who you are. Imagine carrying immense potential within you and never being able to share it. What does this do to a person? Modern psychology points out that repressing one's true identity can lead to feelings of alienation, anxiety, and confusion. This happens because when we hide fundamental aspects of who we are, we create a constant internal conflict. This also applies to the spiritual field. When a person denies your gifts and your purpose, she can feel an inexplicable void. Many chosen spend years trying to fit into patterns that weren't made for them. But something always seems to be wrong. They feel that there is something more, a truth not yet revealed. This feeling of displacement is not a mistake, but rather a calling. The purpose of occultation: protection or preparation. If hiding your identity can be painful, why is it necessary? The answer can be found in the very nature of learning. Before a warrior goes into battle, he goes through years of training. Before a scientist presents a theory, he performs hundreds of tests. Before a chosen awakens, he needs to be ready. Concealment is not a punishment, but a period of preparation. Furthermore, secrecy is often necessary for protection. If a chosen reveals their true potential too soon, they may become the target of forces who do not want the truth to come out. This is reflected even in nature. Please note, butterflies start out as caterpillars, going through a period of metamorphosis until they are ready to fly. The seeds remain hidden beneath the earth, growing silently before becoming trees. Stars only shine in the sky after undergoing millions of years of formation. If creation itself follows this principle, wouldn't it make sense that the chosen would also need time before revealing their true identities? How do you know when it's time to awaken? If concealment is necessary, how do you know when the right moment has arrived? There are clear signs that indicate that someone is ready for their true identity to be revealed. A strong sense of dissatisfaction with ordinary life. Events that seem to push the person onto a new path. Dreams, visions, or synchronicities that indicate a specific direction. Meeting masters, mentors, or people who awaken new perceptions. It is at this moment that the chosen one must make a choice. Continue hiding or accept who you really are. But be careful. Awakening not only means recognizing one's power, but also taking on the responsibility that comes with it. From concealment to revelation, the role of self-discovery. Self-discovery isn't just about knowing who we are, but understand why are we like this and what is our purpose. This process involves 3 steps. Recognition, realizing that there is something different, an internal calling for something greater. Acceptance, stop resisting your own nature and embrace your true identity. Transformation, use this knowledge to fulfill the purpose for which you were born. Many try to jump straight into the transformation without going through the previous phases, but without recognition and acceptance, real change cannot happen. The truth that was always within you. A chosen's identity is never lost. It only remains hidden until the right moment arrives. The process can be challenging, but each obstacle is part of preparing for something bigger. If you feel like there is something inside you waiting to be discovered, maybe it's time to look inside and ask yourself, am I ready to accept who I really am? Because in the end, the biggest secret is not that you have a hidden power, but that this power has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. If you feel this calling within you, subscribe to the channel and write, "I am chosen," in the comments. Declare that you are ready to receive what is already in store for you. The price of secret, sacrifice, and purpose. Have you ever stopped to think, why do those destined for great things always face immense challenges? History shows us that the greatest leaders, heroes, and revolutionaries carried burdens that few could bear. But is sacrifice just an obstacle, or is it part of the purpose itself? And more, does every chosen one need to pay a price to fulfill their mission? The answer may be hidden in the stories that shaped our civilization. The phenomenon of sacrifice. In great stories, in different cultures and religions, sacrifice is directly linked to transformation and the awakening of true potential. If we look at historical and mythical figures, the pattern repeats itself. Jesus Christ accepted the weight of the cross to save humanity. Prometheus, in Greek mythology, stole fire from the gods to give knowledge to humans, being condemned to an eternity of suffering. Buddha, he left his luxurious life behind to find enlightenment and teach the path of liberation. These narratives are not mere coincidences. They reflect a profound principle of the universe. The greater the purpose, the greater the price to be paid. This applies to modern chosen as well. The weight of hiding the truth. Imagine living knowing that you have a secret that could change everything, but that revealing it too soon could ruin everything. For the chosen, hide your true identity. It's not just a choice, but a necessity. However, this has consequences. Ironly, keeping a secret of this level means live apart from the world, unable to share your truth with everyone around you. Distrust. The need to hide reality can create barriers in relationships. The fear of being discovered can generate constant insecurity. Emotional burden. The weight of a secret can turn into an internal conflict, leading to doubts about one's own path and purpose. This is why many chosen face moments of crisis. After all, how can someone carry such a great truth without being consumed by it? The moment of choice. Fight or give up. Every chosen reaches a critical point in their journey, the moment of choice. Faced with the challenges, two options arise. 1. Give up and go back to an ordinary life. 2. Face the sacrifice and move on. This moment appears in several stories. Frodo, the Lord of the Rings. He could have abandoned the ring, but he chose to fulfill his mission, despite the immense emotional weight. Harry Potter. He could have fled his destiny, but he accepted his role in the fight against darkness. Neo, Matrix. He had the chance to return to the illusion of the Matrix, but he chose the truth, even though he knew the path would be dangerous. The big question is, why didn't they give up? The answer lies in purpose. Purpose, the reason behind the sacrifice. Sacrifice only makes sense when there is a greater purpose guiding the journey. What drives someone to endure immense challenges? The certainty that your role in the world has meaning, the awareness that your fight can transform lives, the understanding that without sacrifice there is no real growth. This connection between pain and growth is observed even in nature itself. The seed needs to be buried in darkness before it can flower. Gold needs to go through fire to purify itself. The caterpillar must face the loneliness of the cocoon before becoming a butterfly. The chosen are no different. The weight they carry. It's not a punishment, but yes, a process of refinement. The loneliness of the chosen, a price or a test. Many chosen report a common feeling, loneliness. They feel disconnected from the world around them, as if no one can understand what they carry inside. But this loneliness is not the end of the journey. It is a test. Isolation forces the chosen one to look within, to seek answers within themselves. It is in silence that he finds his true strength. Furthermore, this period prepares you for what is to come. History shows that those who face the loneliness of the path end up finding their true tribe at the right time. That's because every chosen needs allies, meeting those who share the same destiny. No matter how lonely the journey seems, the chosen are never truly alone. There are always others who share the same mission, waiting for the right moment to cross your path. This can happen in several ways. Finding a mentor to guide your steps, attracting journey companions who share the same purpose, discovering teachings and knowledge that confirm what I already felt internally. And when this happens, the sacrifice stops being a burden and becomes a gift. Well, in the end, the chosen's greatest gift is not the power they possess, but the impact they leave on the world. The secret revealed, when sacrifice turns into reward. The chosen one's journey does not end in sacrifice. He is just a stage on the way, the final test before becoming what you were always destined to be. And when the purpose is fulfilled, everything makes sense. The weight of the secret turns into strength. Loneliness dissolves in connection with those who share the same mission. Sacrifice becomes a symbol of final transformation. So if you feel like you're carrying a secret that cannot be revealed, if the weight of your journey seems too great, if you question, why do you have to face so many challenges? Know that all this is part of the process. Then the chosen never face challenges without reason. They face trials because they were made to overcome them. Sacrifice can be painful, but the reward of fulfilling your purpose priceless. The awakening continues. If this video opened your eyes to truths you had never seen before, imagine what else you can discover. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that will transform your life. The big revelation. The moment of truth. Have you ever wondered, why do you feel like you were born for something greater, but the world insists on making you doubt? Throughout this journey, we explore the hidden identity of the chosen, the struggle between destiny and free will, the conspiracies behind the truth, the weight of secrecy, and the price of sacrifice. Now we come to the final point, the moment of revelation. The secret is not forever. If there's one thing all the stories show, it's that the truth always finds a way to surface. Those who were chosen for a greater purpose may spend years in hiding, waiting for the right moment. But sooner or later, the call arrives, and ignoring it is not an option. This has happened countless times in history. Revolutionaries who fought against oppressive systems, scientists who challenged established beliefs and changed the world, spiritual leaders who brought transformative messages. Everyone had to decide, remain anonymous or assume your true role. And for today's chosen, the choice remains the same. The fear of revelation. Many are not prepared for the truth. There's a reason the identities of the chosen have been kept secret for so long. After all, when someone discovers their true power, it becomes impossible to control. Society has always tried to silence those who challenge the system. But history shows that nothing can stop those who are already awake. The signs are everywhere. Changes in the world indicate that something big is happening. The chosen are being called to step out of the shadows. Those who always felt they were different now know they are not alone. What's next, it won't be easy, but this is what you were born for. The final decision, accept or refuse. No chosen can escape their destiny forever. There comes a time when you need to decide, ignore the signs, and continue living as if nothing were happening, or accept your true identity and assume the role you were called to. The question is, when the moment comes, will you be ready? There is no more time for doubts. The truth has already been revealed, and now it's up to you to decide what to do with it. Follow our channel for more overcoming and purposeful content. Click the subscribe button and activate the bell. Your liberation has begun.